My math teacher did make me start sitting in the
All right, we're live. Sharing screen. Citations. Has anybody had to write a paper yet where they had to cite references?
Yes.
Yeah.
Apparently only one of us has taken English composition.
Yeah, so you're gonna have to do it in the English classes. Probably don't have to do it in your lab reports for Phys 1 and Phys 2. But when you get to like advanced lab 1 and 2, you'll have to cite references. When you do your seminar, you'll have to cite references. So citations are an important part of writing technical papers. And LaTeX has got, although it's going to seem like it's more difficult at the beginning, like why do I have to do all of this stuff just to get citations to work? And once it's set up, then the citations are going to be automatic, just like the equation numbering is automatic. What's going to be really nice is you're not going to have to worry about how references have to be formatted in a bibliography. You don't have to look up the MLA, look in the MLA handbook to figure out how references are formatted. You just let bibtex is the thing that's going to do all of the formatting for you. The other nice thing about using this tool that we're going to talk about is that if I needed to change the style of my paper, all I have to do is change from article to report, for example. Well, if I have a journal that I want to submit to, or I have a specific requirement from an instructor, there's usually a style file associated with that, and that includes styling the bibliography, and so you can change the style of the bibliography without having to rewrite the bibliography. So there's an easy way to do this and there's a hard way to do it. We're going to look to see what the hard way is so that we understand why we don't want to do it that way, and then we're going to see what the easy way is. The hard way is to use the bibliography environment directly in your LaTeX document. So let's start up TechMaker. Always want to have. I'm going to do a quick start wizard. Everything's saved, so all I have to do is click OK. I'm going to save my file here. I need to create a new directory. Citations and citations. Okay, save that. Now I'm ready to go. Just test to make sure it works. Do a quick build. All right. To add a bibliography, I have my various sections, right? So this is section, intro, section, methods, some text in the paper. I get down to the bottom, I would have a section titled conclusion. Is that how you spell conclusion?
Yes.
Doesn't look like it. All right, so now let's say that I've got a couple of references that I want to cite. First thing I have to do is construct the bibliography, and then I take the bibliography and I add keys to the bibliography so that I can reference those in the paper. The way that I reference citations in the paper is with the cite command. So here's the basic idea. I use the cite command to reference them, and then I use a bib item command to specify the label that I'm going to use for the reference. So this would be how you would cite the references in your text. Some information from reference 1, cite command, you give it the key that is the thing that references that reference. This is terminology is a little bit confusing here, ambiguous. And then at the bottom of your document, still inside the document environment, you're going to open up the bibliography environment. So you need to do a begin the bibliography, and then you need some empty square or curly brackets. I don't know what goes in here, but there must be some options for how to format it. And then you start adding bibliography entries. So the bib item reference, command, is the equivalent of label, right? When we did it in equations, we used label. Here we have to use bib item. And then you have to format your reference correctly. So this would be depending on whatever the requirements for your style are, you would have to write your bibliography in the correct format. The nice thing about this is it doesn't require an additional tool. You can write it directly in the paper. The bibliography is going to go with your paper, so you don't have to worry about how to generate that bibliography. All right, so I'm going to do a begin the bibliography environment, then some curly brackets, and then I'm going to do an end, the bibliography. First item, bib item, and then I got to give it a key. Let's just call this ref1. All right, so typically a format would look something like this. So John Doe writes a paper. The paper title is going to go into quotes. How do you spell anonymous, Tyler?
A-N-O-N-Y-M-O-U-S.
No E.
No, it's not anonymous.
Okay. Journal of Missing 2000. All right, so there's a bibliography entry. I click build, and my bibliography is created for me at the end. It's automatically called references. You can see that the formatting is it's the same thing that I just typed in, right? So if I had a requirement, like if this is supposed to be a comma instead of a period here, then I have to put in that comma. If I need to quote the title, I have to put in those quotes. If the title needs to, or the journal title needs to be italicized, then I would need to italicize that with the emph command for emphasis. And it automatically generates a number for me. So now I can go back into my paper and I can say that reference, not ref, cite says that, whatever it says, right? Quick build, and now I get the reference number put in there. Let's add another reference. So this is a paper, J.T. Harrington. This is Road to Heisman.
Are those really good?
This was in Sports Illustrated. And that was about 2003, I believe it was. Oh, you're confused with the other Joey Harrington. His middle name is also T. Yeah.
Just T, though.
Yeah, probably do that. There we go. Now, what if I switched the order of these, right? So I'd have to sort these according to whatever the style is, right? So the style might require that the author's last name be in alphabetical order. It might require that the author's first name, probably not going to have that. Might require that the first one to be referenced is first. There are different styles. So I would have to take care of that as well. But if I change the order of the bibliography entries, it will automatically update the reference numbers. So that's nice. The bad thing here is that I've only referenced one of these two. So like if I have a paper in my bibliography that I reference and then I end up taking out whatever the text was that referenced that, I would need to go back down to the bibliography and remove that. I don't want to have more references in my reference section than I actually have citations for. So this is how you create a bibliography. Now that is what we would call the hard way. We're going to do it the easy way now. The easy way actually does it the hard way. It just does it for you. So there's a tool called bibtex that will take a references database and generate this code that we just wrote. This stuff right here. It'll generate that for you. The nice thing about it is that if you change the style of your paper, it will require a different formatting for the references, and bibtex will know how to do that formatting correctly. So it'll generate one that is formatted correct for MLA, or it'll generate one that is correct for the Journal of Biomedical Optics. It'll generate one for whatever style is required. The other nice thing about it is that your bibliography database can contain more references than you actually use in a paper. And what bibtex will do is it goes through your database, finds the references that you have cited, puts them into a bibliography, gives them numbers, and then everything is as normal. So in this case, I wouldn't have to worry about cleaning out any references in my bibliography that I ended up not using. bibtex would take care of that. It'll only pull out the stuff you reference. So that means that you can take a bibtex database and sort of keep it as your master database for all of the papers that you've referenced in the past. And then anytime you need to reference those papers again, you don't have to re-enter the information. It's all right there. All you have to do is cite it. So the process is a little convoluted. You kind of need to know what's going on. So at the very end, what's going to happen is there's going to be a file that contains the stuff in it that we just typed, equivalent to the bibliography environment. That's going to be created by bibtex. So I'm going to first create a reference database that contains all of my information. I'm going to use the cite command to reference those. I'm going to have to put labels or keys into my references so that I can cite them. And then bibtex is going to generate our bibliography. This is going to require more compilation steps now, because I have to first run Latex to find out what things have been cited, right? So what references need to be pulled out of the database. I then need to run bibtex to extract those references from the database and create a bibliography. I then have to write Latex to figure out what order the references are in the bibliography and get numbers for them. And then I have to run Latex again to go back and replace all of the cite commands with the correct number. So it's going to require Latex, bibtex, Latex, Latex. Luckily, we can configure TextMaker to do that for us, right? To run Latex and then bibtex and then Latex and then Latex. All right, so this is what the database entry would look like. This text here. It's going to be a plain text file. You could write this file in your favorite editor, Nano, Notepad++, Emacs, VI. But this is gonna, it's still gonna be better than trying to write the bibliography by hand. But this is gonna be sort of tedious and error prone. So what we're gonna do instead is use a program that manages our bibtex database. And that program is called jabref. So let's install jabref. If I do an apt search jabref, I see two things show up, and jabref is the one I want. So I'm just going to do apt install jabref.
Just the top one. Yeah.
Just the top one, yep. Jabref is written in Java, so it'll run on Windows. It'll run on Linux, should run on a Mac. Surely.
Should run on your phone.
Should run on your phone.
Or
That's right.
else-
Write once, run everywhere, right?
Unless it's an iPhone.
I guess isn't that the official Android language?
I think so. At least partially.
Oh, there we go. All right, so let's fire up jabref. Graphical editor for bibtex bibliographies. Has everybody's jabref installed, or is it still downloading?
It's not letting. 90%. Oh. I have to use the W repos.
You what?
I have to use the W repos. Testing.
The testing repos?
Pretty sure.
Yeah, we get slow internet.
Mine's testing. 70% reading the database. Unpacking. 10 Red Bulls. I'll just take a nap in here.
Better turn your phone off. Don't want to get interrupted.
True.
Hate that. You're like right there. Somebody texts you.
God damn.
All right.
Wait, take your phone out of your pocket before you take a nap.
So there's a lot of fails.
That's why it downloaded quickly, because it didn't download.
Processing triggers.
Man, must be going to college.
All right, while we're waiting, let's go to the website and look at a couple of references. So I have a miscellaneous section here, some papers for us to type in information on. Gavin and I,
Oh.
you guys are familiar. On the probability summation model for laser damage thresholds. This is open access, so there are no copyright infringements for handing this out.
So copy and paste this file.
You can retitle this as your own.
That's what I like to
See, your
hear.
seminar papers.
That's right. It won't be illegal, it'll just be unethical.
Uh-oh, that's 7.
It'll get you kicked out of school because it's plagiarism.
Different side. That's 7.
This is
Weird
7.
kerning to it.
Yeah.
Looks like it's shifted down a little bit.
Let's use the short 7.
So this is a journal article. So in JabRef, I would add a journal article entry. Does everybody have JabRef open yet, or do we need to pause a little bit longer?
Mine is open.
Tyler, yours open?
It opens.
Mine's finishing download. I got 3 turns.
Doran, yours open?
No, I don't even think I don't know what's happening.
You broke your internet.
That is true. If luck was a thing, you would have a bad one. Patrick, you still downloading?
No, I have open.
Did it segfault because you're using the testing edition that hasn't been tested yet?
People have character.
Nope, it's running.
Like character stats.
Okay.
It's not like -2.
All right, so in JabRef, this is a nice example of a GUI that's really useful, right? So the command line is good for a lot of things. GUIs are good for a lot of things. This is an example of where a GUI is more useful. And it's not a GUI that is going to tie us into something where we can't use the command line, because it's just going to write a plain text file, which means we could write scripts that modify the plain text file. So it's not like this is some GUI that the only way we can modify the database that it's going to create is if we open up this GUI. So we have to have this installed everywhere. But this just makes it really nice and convenient. So let's do new database. Now I'm going to need to save this database in the directory that my LaTeX file is. So I'm going to go ahead and do a save here, and I'm going to navigate to Documents, Citations, and then I'm going to name this references.bib. So I'm going to put a .bib on there.
Mine looks a lot different from yours.
Yeah, mine's version 210.
Mine's like 3.
Yeah.
What? Mine looks like.
Click OK. All right, so now I got references.bib. To add a reference, I use a little plus sign here, new bib entry. I choose the reference type.
Do we need to follow with a .bib?
I think so. It needs to be .bib, I'm pretty sure. So there are various types of references. These would be formatted differently depending on the style. Article is the one that we want. A book would be common if you're gonna reference textbooks, and then you would use the book. Conference would be if you're referencing a talk that somebody gave at a conference. PhD thesis would be a PhD thesis.
Thank you for that explanation.
In proceedings is a conference that, so a lot of times when you go to these conferences, you'll write a paper and then they'll publish the paper in a book. It's called the proceedings of the conference. It hasn't been peer reviewed, so it hasn't been through the process where a reviewer reads it and says yes or no on whether or not this should be published. So you need to specify that it's going to be an in proceeding. So we're going to do article. This is peer reviewed. And then what this JabRef does is it gives us a list of all of the stuff that's required to have a complete reference. And then it also shows us the fields that would be optional if we wanted to put that information in. And then there's some other things. What's really nice is you can actually link all of your references to PDFs. So you could open up JabRef, sort through your references, and then find the one that you want, and then click on the PDF icon, and it'll open up the PDF of that reference, right? Which is what I do. I've got a database that has, thousands of bibtech entries and, maybe a couple hundred PDFs that are linked to it. All right, so we need author.
C.D. Clark.
There's 2 authors here. So we need to separate, multiple authors are separated by the word and. So it's gonna be, in this case, I'm gonna do it the same way that the paper has it written. Clifton D. Clark. Oh, no comma, I'm not doing the comma. Clifton D. Clark 3 and Gavin D. Buffington. They wouldn't let me put my first initial.
When you're typing those, is the Roman 3, is that just 3 I's? 3 capital I's when you write it?
That's correct.
Well, I've never actually checked on the proper notation for writing that.
Let me return the volley here, Derek. Thank you for that insightful information. No, that's true. And you my son's 4. That's just capital I, capital V.
Well, you guys should go to all the way to
He has to.
That's gonna break the train.
Yeah, I was the critical piece. Now the pressure's on.
Yeah.
Right.
Millennium from now.
Yeah, lots of juniors.
Yeah.
You run into several thirds, but fourths, right? Very rare. And it's like, come on, let's get a 5th in there. Although
just start with the 6.
yeah, you can do that.
Yeah. It's not like a title or anything. It's just his middle name is 6.
Well, my second son is Nolan, and his is the first. So it's like Nolan J, capital I. That's not true. That's what I wanted to do. It is if you want it to be. You can put that on there.
You can name your children whatever you want. There's no restrictions in the U.S.
All right. On the probability summation model for laser damage thresholds. Title is required, journal is required. So we need to figure out what journal this is in. Usually these articles have got the information down in the footer somewhere or the header. So right here is the information that we're looking for. This is Journal of Biomedical Optics. This would be volume 21, issue 1, and it's in January of 2016. So the journal will be Journal of American Waterworks Association. Nope, it's not that one.
So this is a real article?
Yeah, this is a real one.
I didn't know if you guys just made one up.
Yeah, I go through extensive
research.
I go through a lot of trouble just to get something that you guys will look at the first page of and enter the bibliography information. Plus, if you just read the first paragraph, there aren't any typos.
Oh, so Gavin wrote this?
No, I wrote it, but it's been through several review cycles.
What's the star next to your name?
That is, what is that?
Does it send you to the second paragraph?
Oh, it's to my contact information in the paper.
Okay, I guess like American Waterworks is pretty excited I was writing.
Show the lineage of the Clarks over the.
Yeah.
Mine doesn't shorten the. Doesn't suggest.
There we go.
We'll get a better one then.
I have a newer one.
All right, so what we want here is Journal of Biomedical Optics. We need to put in the year. So that's going to be 2016.
29.
In the year 2016. And then we put in the bibtech key. This is what we'll use to reference it, right? So ref 1 is not very good. The nice thing about JabRef, you can configure what you want it, but what you want it to be, but it has like a generate bibtex key option where it will take the author name and the year. And then, I mean, you can format it to be whatever you want. So you just click on that. And now this is what the bibtex key would be. 3/2016. Bless you.
What? Well, here, I'll check.
I can put in optional fields. So in this case, I know what the volume is. I might as well put it in. It's volume 21, number 1. Pages would be not the number of pages that are in the article, but it would be the first page number through the last page number of the article. That's getting to be much less. I mean, you don't really need it because you use electronic versions of these papers. But the page number on this, I believe, is this one right here, the 15006, because this is, yeah, so this is, so they even give every article in this journal, they give every article their own number, and then you've got like 15006-1 to 15006- probably like 5 or 6, yeah, 6.
Okay, the 2 since it has a -1. You just type in the word 2.
What do you mean? Type in a dash.
But you were using a dash as part of the page number. That 15006-1.
You're going from one
Yep.
page number to the next. How do you indicate that?
Oh, 2 slashes, 2 dashes.
Okay.
Yeah. So you're saying 015006-1 to 015006-2. Month, that one is January. Notes, a real paper. There we go. Click save. There's a tab over here called bibtex source. This is what it's writing for us, so we don't have to type this out.
What was that?
Bibtex source here.
I should have known this for my English 2 class.
Yes,
So if you have to annotate a bibliography, how would you do that?
you'd find a bibliography style that does that.
Okay, this doesn't.
The default is, I don't know what the default is. So the bibtex takes care of you basically write your bibtex database, takes care of the content, and then you find the style that will do the citations in the style that you need. Like some of them require the last name, some of them require just a number, some of them should be superscripted instead of bracketed. So you try to find a style file that did what you needed. All right, let's do one more reference. was.pdf. This is an older one. This is 2010. Now, the nice thing is JabRef is just a bibtex database manager, and bibtex is a relatively common standard. So one thing that you can do is look for the paper online, and even if you're not allowed to download it, like this one is not one that you could download for free. Even if you're not allowed to download it, you can still get the citation, and you can often get the citation in bibtex format. So let's see if we can find this paper. This is called the wide angle split step method for, see if it pops up. Oh, of course it's not.
You're using Yahoo.
Of course it's not going to pop up for Yahoo.
Yahoo's garbage.
I'm sure a lot of people work really hard to make it as non-bad as it is.
Didn't they buy AOL?
I have no idea. All right, here it is. Wide angle split step spectral method. So this is the articles page on the journal's website. If I go over here at $39.95, if you guys want to read this one.
Man,
You get part of it?
No,
Okay.
no. All copyrights are assigned over to the journal. Export citation. bibtex. I want to save this. Let's open this with a text editor. There we go. This is bibtex. So to get that into JabRef, copy, and paste. Now if I go to required fields, revert original source. What? Oh, I didn't get the whole thing. Copy, paste that. Try that. There we go. So now I go to the fields and it's all put in for me. So if you can get just the bibtex source code for the entry, you can copy and paste it into JabRef and you've got the article. This one actually contains a link. If I click on this link, it opens up that web page. That link was put in somewhere. Let's see, right here, there's a URL entry. So if you add a URL entry, there'll be a little globe that shows up here, and you can have it linked to the web page for the paper. All right, save that again. All right, now I've got my bibtex database. So I'm going to close JabRef. I'm done. Oh, wait a minute. I need to add a key for that one, right?
It auto-generated a key.
Did it do that? Jab.
How did you paste that in there?
I did a copy and a paste.
The top ones.
Well, yeah.
So you need to highlight it, and I just did Control C and Control V. Clark 09, 2009. Okay.
Now we need to make a new database, right?
A new what?
A new database.
Not a new database, a new entry.
Oh, okay.
So you do the plus sign.
Gotcha. Article again.
Yep. And then it actually doesn't matter what you do because the article keyword is right here. So it'll change that whenever you copy and paste it in. So let's go look at that. So what am I'm in documents, citations. So this is the directory that contains all the tech files that I've got right now that I'm using TechMaker for. Here's the references.bib. If I cat references.bib, I see just plain text bibtex files. I could open this up in Nano, edit it, save it. That would update my database. So that's all JabRef is doing. But JabRef is really nice about, is a really nice front end for modifying these or editing these so that you don't have to remember which ones of these are required. I got to have a title, an article, journal, and year. All that kind of stuff. All right, so now I'm going to go back to TechMaker. And I'm going to replace my bibliography with something that will use bibtex. So the things that are required to use bibtex. I need to add a bibliography command that specifies the name of the file without the extension that I used. So I used references.bib. So I'm going to do the bibliography command references with no .bib. And then there's, again, it looks like there's a set of curly brackets. And then I'm going to do bibliography style plain. So there would be different styles, Patrick, that you could try to see how they, what the formatting is. So those two lines replace the bibliography environment. And then citations will be the same, right? So the answer is 42, comes from Adams, 1985.
Oh man, I wonder what that's referencing.
I don't know. So just the bibliography command, right? Bibliography, oh, there it is right there. Actually, it doesn't looks like those empty brackets are a typo on my slide. References. I don't think so. This is saying that I don't. Bibliography style, plain. Let's see here. The first one was
2016.
2016. Okay, now the next thing that I need to do is I can't just use a quick build here because quick build's just running LaTeX. I need to run LaTeX and bibtex, but TechMaker has support for that built in. So if I go to, let's see here, what are my options? I can do a quick build, I can do LaTeX. Let's go to configure TechMaker. Configure TechMaker? It's under the options menu. So, I mean, you can just see all TechMaker is doing is running commands at the command line for you. And these are, you could configure every command that's going to get run. If you have a particular thing that you want it to do, you can configure every one of these. Let's go to the quick build and look at the different quick build options. So right now, quick build is running PDF LaTeX, which is a version of LaTeX that makes PDF files instead of DBI files. And then it's running view PDF, right? So it's going to run PDF LaTeX, make PDF, and then open that PDF up in the viewer. What we want to do is, let's PDF LaTeX, bibtex, PDF LaTeX times 2, view PDF. That's the one we want to do.
The second.
Second one. Patrick's the only one running a different version. So it's the second one on yours too. PDF LaTeX, bibtex. Click OK. PDF LaTeX, bibtex, PDF LaTeX times 2, view. There we go.
Oh, it auto.
So I have 2 references in that database, right?
But you've only put one in.
I only cited one. It automatically created the bibliography. It has formatted it correctly, so it's got the italics around the journal name. Apparently, I shouldn't be quoting the title. It's got the authors listed here. Oh, a note, a real paper. I might want to remove that note before I try to send this to a journal. So now if I do the second reference, let's see here. Oh man, and I even get autocomplete for the bibliography entries. So Clark 09 is, add that, run quick build. Now I've got 2 entries. Delete this first one. Rerun, 1 entry.
You just put the site one, right? Site.
I'm using the cite command. Yeah, just cite. Yes, Tyler.
So if we wanted to, if we had to sort by last name or first name, then we just have to change the bibliography style.
Yes. Okay. Yep. And I mean, I don't know the details of that because I've never had to know the details of that. What will happen is, like these 2 journals, the Journal of Biomedical Engineering has a style file that would replace this. So instead of saying document type, document class article, it's like document class RevTech 4. And it contains all the information about how the references should be ordered, how the references should look like when you cite them, what the titles for the section should be, all that stuff. Is it not working for you, Joe?
It is not.
What does the indecipherable error message say?
Yeah, I've noticed that these error messages give you no information.
No, they are.
Maybe
They give you a line number at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, they tell you which
But
line.
it's the line number after it's been expanded, I think. So it's like, that even really corresponds to your.
What have you done here?
Nope, that wasn't it.
It just stays in my bag and then like little bits of paper just the cracks around.
Why do you have little bits of paper sometimes?
Wait. Maybe I'm out of this grab.
That was it.
Jeez.
Do the Easter egg hunt tomorrow? Brooks. Tomorrow.
All right. So
Six.
again, the reason that there are so many steps required here, which we can configure it as a single step in TechMaker, is that LaTeX and bibtex are two different programs. You have to run LaTeX first to figure out what references have been cited. Then bibtex runs to make a bibliography for those references that have been cited. Then LaTeX runs to figure out what the numbers of the references are. And it runs again to replace the citations with those numbers. If we look at a file that was created in here after we ran bibtex. So here's the file that I created with JabRef. And here's the file that I created with TechMaker. And all of this other stuff was created in the middle. I believe that BBL is bibliography. So I'm going to open up citations BBL. And I see that that file contains begin the bibliography. So it's the bibliography environment, bibtex item, and then it contains just the bibliography information. So what bibtex is doing is writing what you would have to write by hand if you were not going to use bibtex as the tool. But it's the exact same thing. So that means that if something's not working quite right, you can always open this file to try to figure out what's going wrong. Or if you wrote a paper, you used bibtex so that you wouldn't have to write these references by hand, and then you needed to get that bibliography put into your file so that it would not change. Like if you needed to submit this in for a term paper or something, then you could copy and paste this directly into your LaTeX file and recompile it, and it would build just fine. VAK is backup, yep.
Just in case.
All right, the last thing that I want to talk about today is the fact that TechMaker is actually just running commands from the command line. So let's look at this. Let me close TechMaker here. Did we install events? What are we using to view PDFs in this class?
Fuma or something.
I don't think I know.
I don't know, try to open one.
For homework and stuff.
Yeah,
I just click on that and it opens it.
opens up in the terminal.
Yeah. In the
Oh, in the browser, yeah, yeah.
Safari.
Let's see here, is there a PDF, LibreOffice?
Well, if you try to open up whatever an XCF is, it only opens in GIMP.
Where is the
Is it-
PDF?
I swear it's not Bluetooth. Linux have Bluetooth?
Yeah.
I'm switching over. Officially. Yeah.
All right, then I'm going to install a PDF viewer called Events.
I'm gonna install it too.
It is my favorite PDF viewer. What's nice is you can rewrite the PDF while Events is open, and then it will just refresh and show you what the new PDF looks like, as opposed to saying cannot access PDF, permission denied. Run my triggers. There we go. All right, so events, citations.pdf. So this is the PDF that I created with TechMaker. If I remove this PDF, now it's gone. The way that I recreate it is I run PDF LaTeX citations, and I don't have to put the .tech on there. So just PDF LaTeX citations, bibtex, citations, PDF LaTeX citations, and run it again. Now I have a PDF called citations.pdf. That's all the bibtex is doing, which means that you could write a script that does this. Now, if I've got the quick build, why would I want to write a script to do this? Well, let's say that my paper is going to include figures that are created by running GNU plot. So I want to have a GNU plot script that will generate my figure. If I don't want to have to run my GNU plot script to generate my figure, then open up TechMaker to click run, I can have a script that runs GNU plot, then runs PDF LaTeX, then bibtex, then PDF LaTeX, then PDF LaTeX, and does the whole entire build process in one step. So I have the ability to script the creating of these LaTeX PDFs. You can also use, let's see here, LaTeX make. Do we have LaTeX make? Let's do an app install LaTeX make. This is a script that somebody else has already written, which basically looks at the file that you have, determines whether or not bibtex needs to run, and then runs it if it does. And it runs it as many times as required to get all the references to finish. So I can do LaTeX make PDF option. And then that creates citations.pdf. Let me remove citations.pdf. Let me remove the bibliography, the auxiliary file, everything that was being created. And then rerun LaTeX make, and I don't even have to give it the name of the file. It automatically figures out what it is, runs it the number of times it's required, and creates PDF. There it is. So I can always build it from the command line. All right, I've got a couple of packages that are going to be useful that we're going to go over on Friday. So there's a package for formatting units, and there's a package for formatting physics equations. So we'll learn how to use those packages. And what else do I have? Compiling from the command line and using a template. So we're just about done with the LaTeX module.
So what's our final?
I think we're going to learn them next.
We're not gonna have a problem.
I don't know if there's something to be excited for, dread.